What's going on YouTube? My name is GinJTCG or Chris, and today I've got another deck that I actually made this one from scratch a bit ago, and I'd like to show you guys it today. Just updated it to kind of deal with some of the temporal forces meta, but I think overall this deck does way better than I think most people would expect it to, and it is Wigglytuff EX. With the expanding body ability, it becomes super tanky with a total of 350 HP since you get 100 more if it has any special energy attached. And if you look at the deck, I only play special energy, so by default, when I have energy to on it, it's getting 350, and Temple of Sinnoh doesn't shut that effect off either, since Temple of Sinnoh says your special energy have no effect. It doesn't say they're not special energy anymore. So sometimes that makes it a little difficult if I've got like a DTE and a therapeutic or gift or something like that on the Pokemon, but overall it's got a pretty solid energy count, so it's not super hard to dig out another energy if something like that happens. And this deck is entirely focusing around Wigglytuff, although we do play one copy of the Snorlax from Lost Origin because it has a really solid attack and a great ability. Its ability to prevent all effects of attacks done from your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon, so against things like Dragapult, or if you're playing against like a Lost Box deck, whether it's got Tina Star Requiem or Lost Mine from Sableye, Snorlax is immune to those effects, and when it's a tap thumping snore for 180 damage, usually it's 160 because we got the DTE, is amazing damage for a single prizer, and the effective attack is usually the most pesky thing about it because it says it's asleep and you have to flip 2 coins and get heads instead of just 1. But in this deck, we actually play 4 copies of Therapeutic Energy, which doesn't let our Pokemon fall asleep, so it makes Snorlax like the perfect partner for this deck. And Wigglytuff EX, as great as it is, actually has a perfect partner for an energy accelerator kind of built in. The Wigglytuff from, I believe it was PAL Day Evolved, Balloon Therapy, you can attach a therapeutic energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So if you have a DTE and a therapeutic energy, you could manual attach the DTE, use Balloon Therapy to attach a therapeutic, and boom, you got to set up Wigglytuff or Snorlax. So the combo with them is pretty solid. We've got 2-2 Bibarel Skwovet as our draw engine. I'm playing a 1-of Radiant Jirachi. Honestly, if I don't lead this Pokemon, I'm probably not going to use it much. I mean, the Astral Misfortune attack is one of the funniest attacks in the game, although it doesn't really work too often. But the ability is super nice. So if you open a hand and you have to lead Jirachi, that's perfect. Because, you know, if this gets KO'd, you search for 3 cards. I mean, that you're cooking after that. So that's the Radiant I chose, because, I mean, the only other Radiant I'd consider would be maybe Radiant Charizard, and you could make these 2 gift energies fire energies, but I didn't know how often I'd have that set up, and usually I'm just trying to run a big wall with Wigglytuff, so I kind of prefer Radiant Jirachi just for that optional lead. Past that, I mean, we've got 3 Arven, 3 Iono, 2 Boss, 2 Cheren's Care, which are massive in this deck because you put one of your normal Pokemon that has any damage counters attached to it into your hand, essentially full healing it and setting up another Wigglytuff. And what's awesome is, since we're playing Hero's Cape as our A-Spec, we do peak at 450 HP on the Wigglytuff, which means Dragapult 3 shots Wigglytuff EX. So if, you know, they take 2 shots, put you at 400 HP, Cheren's Care, tell them to do it all over again, and you're cooking. And if they do get through the Pokemon with Hero's Cape, we are playing on one of Roseanne's backup, which I think is one of the most underrated supporter cards if you could fit it and use it effectively in a deck. Just like in general, I mean, you could choose so many things to just shuffle back in your deck. So you could take the tool card back from your discard pile, put it in your deck, which means you could play a game where you're using an A-Spec twice, which really doesn't have, like, I haven't seen that happen much at all. So to be able to effectively do that in a deck like this is awesome. And a lot of times you're like, oh, is there an opportunity chance to use Roseanne's backup? Honestly, because you have so much HP, decks sometimes are 3-shotting it, and since you have to use a supporter card to do 90 more damage with this attack and keep some consistent damage up, Roseanne's backup is not a bad supporter to use, you know, if you've got a full HP Wigglytuff, or even it took like 1 shot or something like that, you know, you could live another shot, or you have another one set up on the bench. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the deck. I mean, we've got Rocky Helmet to help against like Dragapult Charizard, specifically against the Charizard part of it, because our damage usually caps out at 160, because we have a DTE attached, we would be 3-shotting Charizard. So if you have Rocky Helmet, they will take 20 damage for attacking you, which puts them back in the 2-shot range. It could help against other single prize decks as well. I mean, honestly, like, if I had to switch out a card, it probably would be this Rocky Helmet, but with the popularity of decks like Gardevoir, which put so much damage on themselves to attack you, and Charizard in Dragapult, Charizard itself, I think Rocky Helmet is a solid tool for this deck. Because if they, like, swing into you with, like, Drifloon fully set up, it's got 20 HP left. I mean, Rocky Helmet would KO them, and they're still not even touching a KO on you. So, it could be a nice little tool that your opponent might overlook or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, that's it for the deck. I mean, let's get into it. I cannot wait to show you guys this deck. On to what might be game number 2, although it might be the first game you see in the video. I don't know, there's a chance. I mean, if this is the first game you're watching, stay tuned to the end to see what might have been one of the funniest game 1s ever. It was nice, quick, maybe, a minute and a half long game, but it was definitely interesting. So if you stay tuned or just skip to the end, although you should watch all 3 games, you will get to take a sneak peek at that. And Fluttermane, I just realized, might be a super annoying Pokemon to work around in Guardia. I didn't really think of that. Or it is Ancient Box. Oh man, because I was going to say, that Midnight Fluttering ability is super pesky at shutting things down. And we do have a really rough opening hand here. So I think I might just... I don't know. I think this is a situation where we do go for lead. We have to go for lead. I say that like we have a choice. And I'm gonna play the cape here. I am gonna hold the Rocky Helmet because this one might be the Balloon Therapy Wigglytuff if we could live a turn. And I don't necessarily want to play Snorlax yet, so I am gonna lead. I could go Arven. They might have the KO. They did just attach Pass, which tells me their hand might be a little dead, so maybe if we have TM Evo in the deck, we don't mind taking it a little slower, and we do. I don't hate that, actually. Do we have Skwovet in the deck? We do. Okay, yeah. Because what I'm thinking is maybe we could go for, like, a Nest Ball, TM Evo, or maybe Ultra Ball. I could get rid of Boss and Snorlax. And I'm assuming they top deck that Radiant Greninja. They would have done that last turn. Fluttermane has a super annoying ability, though. Oh my gosh, I do not want to deal with that at all. And they are able to get going off concealed cards, so we gotta hope, we could live through this one. Because if we die here, that could really hurt us, and I would have much rather taken Iono instead of Arven, but... I think we got a decent shot, and we are able to live the turn, which is perfect for us. So we are gonna Arven. I do think Rocky Helmet will be useful in this deck because their Roaring Moon will jump up to 200 HP. So if we could get a Rocky Helmet ping or 2, that could be super nice. For sure. So I think here I'm gonna get rid of Boss and Snorlax could be nice too, but we have Rod. We can pull it back later if we need. We have Pal Pad. We could get, yeah, we could get the Boss back too, so I'm not upset with getting rid of both of those. And I am going to attach the TM Evo here. It sucks because I really don't want to play Rocky Helmet right now. I do think that could definitely be useful later on. But we do get the DTE, and since I am going to TM Evo here for sure, I think I'm just going to attach this DTE to the benched one and kind of spread my energy a little bit. And thank God, we're not punished. If I got a Wigglytuff EX there, I would have been so upset because we could have taken a big KO this turn. But we did whiff it, which sucks, but I guess is nice in, like, this one case, and we are just going to take a Skwovet, and we are just going to start flying through our deck. Definitely want to TM Evo here as well. So, oh, you know what? We prized Balloon Therapy Wigglytuff, which I didn't even pay attention to, so that's a little annoying. But since we had the extra turn to set up an energy, honestly, I think we'll be okay. As long as we attach an energy, and especially our DTEs, over the next couple turns, I think we'll be fine. And they do get Sadas here, so we might be seeing an attack here, but it looks like our opponent is having a slightly rough time getting set up. I mean, this is definitely going to be an interesting match. You know, them going in with Flutter Mane, we're going to have to be really conscious of that because they might drop us from 350 HP to 250 HP because of this Midnight Fluttering attack ability where it kind of shuts down our active abilities. So, you know, that's something we definitely need to watch out for going into this game, but it does not. Yep, they just pass here. So here I might actually just retreat. We're going to attach this here. I mean, we could see, you know, we could try to dig for switch. I don't remember if it was prized. I don't necessarily want to use Pokegear here, but I think I'm going to see if I could get an early Arven, and we fail it. Okay, I was going to say, sometimes saving it is a little nice for later in the game. And we're going to go... But, you know, we had to use it now. Oh, and we get the switch. Perfect. Oh, that's the best card we could get. Now I'm tempted to Iono. Putting them at less cards is definitely not, you know, a bad thing. And I think that might be the play. Their hand has been a little dead, so I am scared to Iono them into a super playable hand. You know, just a phenomenal hand, but I don't know if I have another choice going into it. And this hand is solid for sure. We are going to get another Wigglytuff in play. I'm just going to get rid of Buddy Buddy Poffin and Gift. Oh, did we prize one? I think we did. We do play 3 Wigglytuff. Okay. That's fine. That should be fine. You know, we got Cheren's Care we could dig out as well. So, you know what? Actually, I can see now if I could chase a Cheren's Care. With this Skwovet, with this final Skwovet Bibarel. Man, I really should. There's a few times now in a couple videos that I might have to start checking my prize cards a little bit better. Because I know I'm playing some wacky lists, but, you know, it definitely could help us a bit if I knew what was going on here. And we get Balloon Therapy Wigglytuff out of the prizes, which honestly might be the play for me. Just to ensure I'm getting energy set up, and I could play around Flutter Mane just a little bit better. But we'll see what our opponent has for an answer for us here. They are going to be ripping a Pokestop. They do get the Professor Sadas as well, so we are going to see an attack here, and they get rid of some big cards. Actually, getting rid of another Sada and an Ancient Booster Capsule is actually phenomenal for us, and I'm curious to see if they get a Flutter Mane in play or not this turn. I'm curious if they see that line. I mean, Flutter Mane is definitely a pesky attacker for us, and I think we are going to actually just run the Balloon Therapy here, because there might be a... I think I'm going to try to wait one more turn to Cheren's Care. I don't necessarily want to give them Artazon. I'd rather them... I hate to say I'd rather them Pokestop, but we have 290 HP left, so I'm not in the worst spot. We should have our other Cheren's Care in the deck. So I am just going to start digging through the deck just a little bit more, see if I could get another energy attached. I actually prefer Mr. Energy here, because if I could swing 180 with the, I know the picture isn't working, but with the Rocky Helmet, I think that's going to be preferred. So I am going to attach that here, draw with Bibarel, see what we get. I didn't play a supporter per turn, and Boss could be pretty big here, actually. I think limiting their attackers is solid. I mean, limiting their draw engine is pretty good too. Like, if I could take out this Greninja and just force our opponent to just do the rest of the game with Pokestop and whatever's in their hand, I think that will work out better for us. And we are going to have to save this Rod, because when they inevitably get a Wigglytuff knocked out, we are going to have to Rod back that Pokemon, because we only have 2 in the deck. But at that point, we could also get Snorlax, and Snorlax might be a phenomenal single prizer. Just disrupt the prize trade a little bit, as if it wasn't hard enough to get through all our Pokemon. I mean, what's nice about the Snorlax combo, too, as far as single prizes go, super tanky, you know, basic single prize Pokemon. You know, it's got, what, 160, 150 HP, 150 HP. And the art is just gorgeous. I mean, that has to be one of my favorite cards ever printed. And they scoop here for game 1. They were definitely in a rough spot, and you can see how this deck just gets going like that, and all of a sudden we got an insane amount of walls to break through. So that wraps it up for what will be the first game in this video, and I will see you in match number 2. Jumping into match number 2 after a solid game against Ancient Box, where our opponent, I guess, just got overwhelmed by the amount of HP we have on the board. We are choosing to go second, and we get a solid opening hand for sure. I am gonna lead Jigglypuff. I think here's a solid lead. Oh my gosh. you guys didn't think I'm stacking this if this is another Ancient Box deck. I mean, I didn't think there was many of them out, but there is another Flutter Mane. Pesky attacker to break through with this deck, but I think we can make it work, and it's Ancient Box again. So, actually, I'm curious, was this the same person I played against in match number 1? I can pull up on my other monitor after and see, because if it is, I don't know if I'll throw it in. Oh, actually, no, this works out perfectly for us here. And let's check what's prized. We got Bibarel, Wigglytuff. Okay, so we got 3 Wigglytuffs. We got the Balloon Therapy in the deck. How many Bibarels we got? We got 2 in the deck, so we got 1 in hand. So we've actually got a really, and is TM Evo in here? I'm praying it is. Perfect. We have, I think, a phenomenal opening hand. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna attach the gift, play the Town Store. We could give them the Ancient Booster Capsule, because we are gonna rip a huge TM Evo for us. And now play the Iono, see if I could get just some more Pokemon on the board. Because it was nice, yeah, it was super nice we had the evolutions of both these in our hand, but I wanted to see if I could force more Pokemon in play this turn, which I can, which is perfect. And I think I'm going to play the Buddy Buddy Poffin and just fail it, just to get it out of the deck. In case this is KO'd, Gift will feel that much nicer. I don't even hate playing another Jigglypuff here. And we are just going to rip TM Evo for Bidoof and Jigglypuff, or Wigglytuff. And we've got a solid shot at attacking next turn. And we got 2 lines to do it. So if they KO our active Jigglypuff, right? We do have Balloon Therapy Wigglytuff in the deck, and we do have Bibarel Skwovet. So we've got a solid draw engine right now to really dig that out. And if they don't, all we have to do is attach the DTE and find the evolution Wigglytuff EX, which, and neither I think are super impossible with our current setup, and our opponent is really getting going after that Iono. So I'm curious to see, you know, if they get a big attack here, but I'm not sure. Their hand is just getting smaller and smaller, and they already used concealed cards, I believe. So, you know, we'll see where they run this one, but they are just throwing every Roaring Moon down possible, which is nice for us because I do not feel like dealing with Flutter Mane. And they do have Sada, so they are going to be taking the KO here, which is a little annoying, but, you know, I think we can make it work. What's nice about Balloon Therapy, too, is you could attach the therapeutic energy to any Pokemon in play. So, you know, we could promote Wigglytuff EX, because I know some abilities are you can only attach X energy to benched Pokemon. Balloon Therapy Wigglytuff is not like that. So we can promote the Wigglytuff EX here. And I don't necessarily mind falling a little behind against an Ancient Box deck. Definitely a scary deck, but we've got some good ways to get, you know, around it. We've got a lot of HP. We've got a good single prizer as well. So, you know, and they're going to put their damage on Wigglytuff and Bibarel, which is, I don't know if those 2 damage counters matter, but oh my gosh, and there we go. We just drew into exactly what we needed off Gift. That's why we play a couple of Gift energies for times like this. So, yeah, we got Wigglytuff on the outside. Wow, we actually have a phenomenal hand. So we're going to run the DTE. Yeah, just attach this therapeutic energy to one of our Pokemon. And I don't want to Ultra Ball here because we have the best energy possible in our hand. So I think I'm just going to rip a Town Store just in our hand. or, you know, take something out of the deck, you know, thin some things out. Get this Hero's Cape on the active, because our ability is shut off. I really do want to swing, or once I have more HP, although I think we do kill it here if we play Supporter. So we just got to find like an Iono or something. Arven would be solid too. We get Arven, so that's good. We are definitely going to play that now. No point in holding it. I'm going to play it for... we have Ultra Ball. I don't hate taking a gear here. We could Ultra Ball for Snorlax. I mean, it's prized. Never mind, we're not going to do that. We could just Ultra Ball... Could get rid of these, you know, Jirachi and Buddy Poffin. Because I don't necessarily want to use Jirachi much here. And if I need it, I can take it with the cape later. Or with the rod later. But usually Jirachi is only good in the early game. So I think that's probably going to be my line here. Is just go for another Wigglytuff EX. And I mean, you can see this is our second turn. And if the game doesn't break here, we are dialed in with 2 Wigglytuff EXs, both tools attached, you know, just a full board ready to rumble at this point. So I mean, you know, that's why this Wigglytuff EX, it's slept on, man. I mean, you can see I'm not really sweating to get this stuff set up. I mean, we're just kind of naturally drawing and playing into some good hands. I mean, the deck is pretty streamlined between Balloon Therapy and Bibarel Skwovet. We are just, you know, it's not hard for us to get set up that quickly, which is crucial in a meta like this. I mean, it is still a very fast-paced, very aggressive meta. Not many decks take a lot of time to set up. I think the longest one might be Dragapult, just because you'll see them go into that Draglock middle evolution line a bit more. But even then, they'll get attacking by like their second turn. You know, same thing where they choose to go second with Arven TM Evo. You know, we're kind of running like a similar concept to that, and they're swinging for 130, which is, I mean, I'm not scared of at all. At that rate, they're gonna be like 4-shotting us, so you know, that's not bad. And I think we just go Balloon Therapy here. I don't hate a boss play on Greninja again. They've got a big hand, but if I could limit it a little more and then go for Iono next turn, I think that's gonna be our line here. And we'll just Skwovet Bibarel and see if we can get another DTE. I don't think there's, I mean, you know, I was going to say, I don't think we have anything left. We don't really need anything. I'd rather just get it out of the deck for a little Industrious Incisors. Full 5. And we get the DTE there, yeah. So, I mean, we're cooking at this point. And we don't have anything left in any tools left in the deck. We only play 3 tools. Which makes Arven a little less useful later in the game, but if you do get Roseanne's backup off, like this is, oh, that was the one card I kind of wanted to see off the prizes. Anyways, yeah, if you get Roseanne's backup off, like let's say they KO this turn, right? You play Roseanne's backup, and you could get a tool. So if they get rid of Town Store, perfect. We get a tool, a stadium, an energy, and a Pokemon. So we can take a, you know, we have another Wigglytuff EX, so we could take Jigglypuff. We could take Hero's Cape. We could take, you know, Town Store. I forgot if we got rid of our Artazon already, but we could take either of those back if it's there. And a DTE, or Therapeutic, whatever we're short on. And, I mean, if you look at, you know, our hand, we could get all those back, and after that, you got Arven, you got Ultra Balls, like, Arven, at that point, you could pull back your capes. So it's not super difficult to loop a cape if you really wanted to once they got a big KO. And, I mean, at that point, like, if I was sitting across from an opponent who just looped cape back, I would be screaming. I'd be furious. And they are going to go for a counter catcher play on our Bibarel, which is definitely a little annoying. Because our other Bidoof is prize. So now I'm questioning if I really want to play Snorlax. I think we do, because we'll still have another bench space for a Bidoof if we are able to get it. We limited their draw engine. It would make sense that they're just limiting our draw engine. So I've got an idea here, which could be a little gambly. But, you know, them attacking our Bibarel's all right. I mean, we still got a 310 HP left on this Wigglytuff. So, you know, I think we can run it. Yeah, I don't hate this. I think what I want to do here is go... We got Rod. Just get our Bibarel line back. Just get the whole thing. Make it a little easier for us to draw into. Because I'm going to need these guys back for sure. So I think we're going to take these. And I like the Ultra Ball play here. I don't like getting rid of Roseanne's backup after I was just typing up how good that loop is. But I think we need to. I think it would be best to get rid of these. Let's take another Bidoof out of the prizes. Again, Bidoof is prized, but if I don't get it back, it is most definitely going to be like my last prize card, and I'm just going to be upset that, you know, I never rotted it back when I had the opportunity to. Oh my god, I totally just misplayed their talking. Well, that happens. Sometimes you just get so invested in talking that I don't even look what I'm doing, but I should have put that therapeutic energy on the Snorlax, but, I mean, yeah, it's fine. Well, what's the worst that can happen, you know? I'll regret that later in the game. No point regretting it now. And we are in top deck mode, but we do have the best draw engine in the game left, and that is Skwovet. So, if our top deck is useless, I will be running Skwov to get just another top deck. And they run a secret box, which is... Honestly, I actually love Secret Box in this Ancient Box deck. That is a super fun card. And they are getting rid of Fluttermanes, which I don't think they see. Yeah, I don't think they see how Fluttermane could be useful here, but they can take some really annoying KOs. But that's kind of the benefit of running a rogue deck, or, you know, something like... just some crazy deck that your opponent's never seen. They don't necessarily know how to deal with it the best, because this might be our first time our opponent has ever played against Wigglytuff EX. They were not prepping to see this today, I bet. This was not on their bingo card, right? And although we see the outs to our own deck because we're playing it, our opponent might not necessarily. So that's something I've always kind of loved about playing, you know, decks that just... You know, they're in the bulk bins, and I'm digging cards out of the bulk bin and making as solid a list as I can with those decks. You know, that's kind of where our little advantage comes in, is our opponent has to learn how to play against our deck while playing our deck, which sometimes, you know, forces a misplay, just like me attaching a therapeutic energy onto Bidoof. So, not a bad shout. They do take Fluttermane here, so I'm curious if they do see a bit of the line to get a big KO. They get rid of Penny, which is really, really big for us, actually, because we are two-shotting them. And they've only got 6 cards in their deck, I just realized. So, I mean, they got to be careful. If they don't start playing some PAL pads and whatnot back, I mean, they might... They're in a spot where they could deck out pretty soon. And we have 100 HP left. We do get Boss's Orders. I don't know if I want to play it, though, because we're taking the KO on this no matter what. Right? And then I think next turn we could force another KO with Wigglytuff EX, since we have a supporter. So I think here the play might just be to attack, take the prize, let him KO this Wigglytuff, and we'll drop down to 2 prize cards left, and we'll feed him another set up Wigglytuff. We get a Nest Ball out of the prizes. It would have hurt if that one was Bidoof, but at least for now, thankfully it wasn't. So we will see what our opponent does here. I'm curious. I mean, if they have a switch in their hand, right? What they could do, Fluttermane on the bench, switch into the Fluttermane, KO us because they shut off our ability, and then force us to promote another Pokemon, which I'll probably give them I'll have to give them Snorlax at that point. But I don't know if they see it like that. Or maybe they don't have a switch. I mean, both are possible. They are flying through their deck, though. I'm surprised they're not playing a little more conservative. They still got a lot of... They still have a few attacks left in this game, and I'm curious if we see a supporter from them. We do. We see Professor Sada, so they're going to drop down to 2 cards left in their deck, which is crazy to me. They have to have more recovery. Because if not, I mean, we might just win this game by deck out, which is legitimately an option with this deck. And they do have Palpad. Okay, I was going to say, that is completely a valid play with this deck. Since we just have so much HP, sometimes you just run your opponent through on resources, and it's kind of rough for them at that point, but they are going to keep digging, and they get rid of the last Flutter Mane, which is the best thing that could have happened for us, for sure. Looks like we're not going to see that annoying way to KO our Pokemon. They do 240 damage, which is pretty solid. They drop down to 2 prize cards, so, you know, let's hope we get top deck something pretty good here. DTE is definitely solid, definitely what we wanted to see. So I am going to boss up this one just to try to get set up a little bit, and I am going to run the Nest Dash, see if I can get that Bibarel at this point in the game. That's big for us, actually. That means next turn we've got Bibarel. Oh, this is why Skwovet is the best draw engine. You can just run a deck with Skwovet. You don't need Bibarel. Absolutely bailed out by that card. And an energy. I hate to get rid of an energy at this point, because Snorlax is so close to attacking, but he's not there yet, but I think we're gonna have to. We've got plenty of energy left in the deck, though, so, you know, that's fine for us. Cheren's Care is also gonna be an absolute must at this point. I think this turn we have to go for a big Cheren's Care place, then just kind of, like, nullify, you know, their turn doing a big attack. It's 270. I mean, they're hitting some solid numbers. But let's see what we could get out of here. Oh my god, it's another mist. I mean, hey, if that's what I must get rid of, that's what I must get rid of. We should have a bunch of energy left in the deck, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh yeah, we do. And we've got a Cheren's Care, I believe, as well. We got both of them. Yeah, no, we're in a solid spot for sure. Right here. I mean, if we had that therapeutic attached, we were ready right now. So, let's see what we get here. We do get the Cheren's Care, which is absolutely massive for us, but we whiffed on the energy, which is terrifying. So, I'm curious. I mean, well, actually, we didn't necessarily whiff on the energy, because Cheren's Care gives us the energy back, which is perfect. And now Rocky Helmet could actually help us in taking a KO, since we're only doing 160 and they've attacked us twice, so they will take enough damage to KO themselves. So, and then I think here we PAL pad back. Yeah, we're going to take back Cheren's Care and a boss, because I think those are going to be the biggest things for us at this point. And I love our hand for next turn. Absolutely love it. So now they're in an interesting spot, and we don't fall asleep. You know, they take the KO here. We only have single prizes on the board, so they can't win this turn. But I'm curious if they have a boss play, because if they boss up by Jigglypuff, then I think it might be game for us. But I don't know if they've got boss. I mean, Countercatcher isn't live because we're at the same number of prizes. They definitely have Sada's left. I feel like if they have boss, they would have it in their hand. They play Sada's Vitality and deck themselves out in the process. So they didn't boss our Jigglypuff. I'm pretty sure that means we're in a not in a checkmate position, because they are going to rod cards back into their deck. But if they had boss there, I mean, they for sure would have played it. I can't see a world where they wouldn't have. And I think I might need it. I need an energy. If I get an energy and boss, I believe I win next turn. Which, I mean, this game is down to the wire. Regardless if this was the same guy from last game or not. I honestly have no idea who it is. I don't remember looking at the name. I don't remember who it was. This was a phenomenal game. And there's a best 2 out of 3 against Ancient Box. And I believe that's it. I think we got it. So, I mean, we do boss and energy. We just need boss and energy. And we'll see if that misplay on Bibarel comes to bite us in the butt a bit in the end here. But I think we're in a decent spot. There's not many cards left in our deck. I think here we're forced to use Pokegear to try to look for boss on the top. Get Cheren's Care. Iono doesn't really do it. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts a lot. Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just Skwovet, Bibarel, and pray. There's Ultra Ball doesn't help us. We are so close. We are so close to closing this game out. Come on. boss and no energy. Oh my god. Oh, that's bad. You know, we could do some proper thinning here. Just get the attack off. I don't think they play boss. You know, we could go for an... Iono actually really doesn't help us either. Nothing really does. Nothing really does at all. So I think... Oh man, I'm kind of stuck here. I think we just thin out a little bit more from the deck. Just try to take another card that we'll put to the bottom with Skwovet. We do have 4 energy left. We essentially have to find it this turn. I mean, we could Pokestop, try to get cards that aren't energy. Because we have more of a chance of hitting non-energy than energy. We could just discard them, which effectively makes our Skwovet Bibarel and top deck that much more likely to hit energy. And I think for right now, that is the play for us. We get rid of a DTE, which is fine. We do get rid of a Nest Ball as well. So we've got 3 energy left in 10 cards, and I think that works pretty well in our favor at this point. Oh, maybe I could have taken another Wigglytuff just because it didn't hurt us. That probably was a misplay. Yeah, and I think I pass here. I mean, we'll see. You know, if they got boss, they got boss. I mean, that's game, and that was a phenomenal game. But if they don't, we are still in a pretty solid spot, I think, to find it next turn. So let's see. I think we should have taken the Jigglypuff. That might hurt us a little bit, because that's just another card in our deck we could have taken out. And they are Ultra Balling things away. This is what I mean. I feel like if they had boss, they would have played it already. Because they would have won. I think they would have pretty much put us in a checkmate position last turn. So we'll see. Yeah, they just Vengeance Fletching here for almost a KO. And there's the energy top deck. Yeah, Pokestop was the play there. And we are just going to boss up this benched one, swing for KO on an insanely close game against Ancient Box. But, I mean, there you go. There are 2 games. We are up 2-0 with... And it was the last prize card, I told you guys. But we are up 2-0 with... I mean, it has to be one of my favorite decks. One of the most fun decks I've ever played in my life. I mean, this deck is just so funny with how it works. Look how much less damage we did than them, but that's just because we have so much HP for them to get through. I feel like any other deck would have been cooked that game by them. They were on fire that game. We just had too much health to deal with. So that wraps it up for match number 2, and I will see you guys in match number 3. I did check the past recordings. Those 2 Ancient Box players were actually 2 different players. So it just... I haven't seen Ancient Box a lot lately, but, I mean, the chance that we ran into 2 different players in a row is insane. But, I mean, I also am playing Wigglytuff. You know, what are the chances that they also ran into the one guy playing Wigglytuff in the ladder? So, you know, it wasn't the deck I expected to play with this, but definitely shows off how the, you know, longevity of this deck we could hang against, you know, single prize decks, as well as the just sheer amount of HP we have. And I think here we're going to be forced to just sack Skwovet. I mean, this hand, it's a little rough. Are we going first or second? We're going second. We're playing against Festival Leads, which is definitely an interesting match for sure. Oh my god, just 3 single prize decks. That also probably isn't the matchup we wanted to see going into this game, but you know, that's fine, man. That's just how it goes. I mean, if we get Arven here, that would just be so nice. So we don't. We get Iono. That hurts. I don't want to give him a new hand. Actually, so do I even give him a new hand? I don't think I do. I think we just attach to Jigglypuff. If they have a double KO, I mean, they're going to have it with 3 cards. They'll definitely have it with 6 cards. So I think here we just pass. And I believe their stadium says we're not affected by special conditions. So that means our Snorlax will be cooking this match for sure. So maybe we'll get to show off Snorlax a little bit. And they just do the wave 460, taking a KO, going up 1 prize, which is definitely a little annoying. But, you know, I think we could work around it. We're going to have to Iono here for sure. We don't have a way around that. Arven's nice, doesn't guarantee us an energy, though, which is really what we need. Although we could get Ultra Ball. Try to get it off Bibarel. We'll probably need the Balloon Therapy this match, though. But I could get a Rod later in the game. Because I don't want to give them more hands. It seems like they're kind of in a rough... or more cards in their hand. It seems like they're in a bit of a rough spot. So I think, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go for that. And I'm going to take a Cape. Because we need Cape here. They can't... They had 3-shot us if we have Cape, which is going to be massive. And we are forced to get rid of PAL Pad here, which that hurts a bit too, but I think it's better for us to keep the Iono, so we'll rock with it. We'll take a Bibarel, and let's just see what's prized. We got a Wigglytuff prized. We got a Jigglypuff prized. We have both Cheren's Care, which is phenomenal. We're going to need those. And, oh, I didn't see Snorlax either. Oh, Snorlax is prized too. That hurts. I was loving Snorlax this game. And we've got pretty much all our energy. We got a DTE prized as well. Alright, our prizes hurt a little bit, but we really just need to get an energy off this Bibarel, and we do, which is perfect. I am going to play the gift. If they KO us with a hand like this, I'm going to want to draw some cards. But we take out their only Dipplin, which is great because they need at least one other full turn to attack because they are an evolving deck. So, because they don't have any other Applins in play, and we get the DTE back. So it's actually not bad. And I think this turn we go Arven. It's still so early to Rod, but I think we have to. Just take the more aggressive line. I don't want to play Artazon as much as I'm tempted to get more set up. Our opponent seems to be in a really rough spot. You know, actually, I don't have to Rod this turn. Maybe I just go Buddy Buddy Poffin. I don't need Skwovet this turn. I don't need, you know, Balloon Therapy next turn. So I think here, you know, while we got the energy, we got to set up attacker. I'm not going to need TM Evo anymore, so I'll just play it. Just to thin a card out of my hand, make Bibarel a little nicer. We get another some more energy, which isn't bad. Kind of dead cards in our hand, but our opponent is definitely in a rough spot. So, you know, we'll just keep running it. But I mean, yeah, you could kind of see where this deck starts to take off pretty quickly. We've had the Iono this whole time, so if we were playing against an opponent with an aggressive start, we've had Iono to just absolutely run it with them, and they just keep draw passing. So I'm gonna play this here. Gonna throw the Mist onto you. Gonna start taking out your Grookies. Those gotta go, and they gotta go early because they allow you to search for any card when they have like their full setup. So, gonna get rid of that. Don't necessarily need another tool, so I am just gonna go up 3 prizes. Which means Wigglytuff EX have taken more than it's worth, proven how great it is. We get another Wigglytuff. Oh, yeah, this is rough for our opponent. They need a massive top deck here. I almost want them to. I want to see them run it. I mean, I was looking forward to this matchup. It was definitely a harder one for us because they just so consistently swing 220 once they got everything going for them, but they whiffed it again. So we might just be running away with this one here, which sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. We do take the KO. We don't have to use Iono. If we whiffed the KO because we didn't use a supporter, I might have been tempted to Iono there. And we get Snorlax, which is... ah, there it is. That's, we ran away with this game. I'm not worried about it at this point anymore. But I think this game does a really good job showcasing just how well this deck takes off. So we're going to play this here. We're going to put the gift there. I mean, we really don't need to do anything, so I think I'll just wait at that point. I could Ultra Ball, dig a little further with Bibarel, but we have 1 prize remaining. We've got essentially 3 setup Wigglytuff EXs off the prizes, or not off the prizes, just on the board. I mean, we're an Ultra Ball away from having 3 setup Meat Shields, and we have Cheren's Care in hand in case they somehow attack us this turn. And they just scoop for a rather sad match number 3, but sometimes it's just how it goes playing a card game. You just don't draw into what you want to see. So Wigglytuff EX going 3-0 against 3 single prize decks, and I will be including a little extra footage of another card you didn't see yet. pop off after this video, so make sure you stay tuned to see that little extra bit. Alright, jumping into match number 1 here. I am going to choose to go second because we are playing an Arven TM Evo line in the deck, and I think, you know, we are a more defensive deck, so sometimes just getting a bit more set up does work out better for us, and this is one of the hands ever. I mean, we could go for Astral Misfortune, which we're gonna be forced to do, but I mean, you know, if I had to choose to lead any Pokemon, it would be Radiant Jirachi. And we do have Buddy Poffin in our starting hand, which is good for us. And we're playing against Gardevoir, which is an interesting match for sure. I mean, you know, we are running 2 prizers into a single prize dominated deck like Guardy, but we just have so much HP that we might be able to tank, you know, a good bit of shots from a deck like Gardevoir. And they just pass, so we might have the option here to just, oh man, double, I'm getting a solid top deck. Another Buddy Poffin, you know, just completely set up the board as long as I got 2 Bibarels in the deck, and I do, which is perfect. Alright, and we will try to end this game nice and early with an Astral Misfortune. There's 1. There's 2. Oh man. Well, I might throw this in at the end just to see. I don't know if that's an entire game I want to showcase, but that is definitely an interesting way for this match to go. So, Astral Misfortune getting some work done.